Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We are going to talk about the TradeStation mobile apps. But before we jump over to the content and show you some of the technology and some of the functionality that you have available on the mobile apps, we do have to go and go through the disclosures. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that we talk about in this presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation. Active trading is not suitable for everyone. It should only be done with risk capital. And if we show past historical performance, which we're not going to do in this class, this is no guarantee of future results. If anybody needs a little bit more information about the disclosure information, feel free to visit our website at tradestation.com, and you're going to find all the disclosure information there. All right, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that we're doing at youcantrade.com. You probably were there in order to register for this event, but TradeStation is the host of two different channels in there. We have the Getting Started with TradeStation, which is a free channel. You can go there every single week, and we archive every single presentation, so you have an opportunity to play back any of the sessions that we've done in the past. But we meet there live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And then we do a follow-up Q&A. So if you have any questions on the TradeStation platform, something that you haven't figured out yet on any of our platforms, because we do have 3 different platforms that you can trade on. If you have any questions on them, join us on Wednesdays at noon. This is Eastern time, and we'll go and give you live demonstrations on all that functionality. So that's for the Getting Started with TradeStation channel. We have a second channel, which is the TradeStation Masterclass. In the Masterclass, we dive deeper into TradeStation technology. We also highlight certain technical studies. We talk about strategy trading, and we even do a little bit of easy language programming. With the TradeStation Masterclass, you have premium courses, the strategy concepts white papers that I talked about. We meet there every single day. So every single day, we go live at 10 a.m., and you have multiple opportunities to ask an instructor questions about the TradeStation platform. We also have all archives, so every session is archived. So if you cannot join us during the morning hours of the day, you can always watch the playback of the session at a later time. And of course, multiple sessions in which you can ask questions and make sure that you have a good handle on the TradeStation technology. The desktop itself is a platform that is not. Let's put it this way: there's a learning curve in order to use the TradeStation desktop, and the whole purpose why, or the whole reason why we're here, is to help you have a good handle and a good grasp on the technology. So check out the content. Visit youcantrade.com and check us out there. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We'll be glad to provide you with additional information. Let me go ahead and escape this PowerPoint and minimize it. All right, everybody should be able to see my 2 mobile apps right here on the screen. We do have a lot of people in here in class, so sometimes that is challenging when it comes to answering some of the questions here, but I'll be glad to glance at the chat window once in a while to see what type of comments or what type of questions are being sent. So thank you everyone for being here, and great. Maurice, thank you for the reminder. If you want to comment in the chat, there's a little drop down right there at the bottom where you can set your chat windows to all panelists and attendees, and that way everybody can join in the conversation and know exactly what's going on. This is the way that the class is going to be split up. We have the iOS right here on the left-hand side, and we have Android on the right-hand side. If you've used the TradeStation mobile apps already, they should be familiar to you. I like to show them both side by side because some of the functionality or some of the location of the features and things that you do on the mobile app may be different from one environment to the other. And I'm going to try to highlight those differences here in this session so that everyone is aware of where they need to go in order to find what you're looking for. Okay, so again, iOS on the left-hand side, Android on the right-hand side. I have already logged in to the mobile app. And this is something that everyone here connected in this class should do either right now, if you have a phone in your hands, or after we finish the class. Just go to the App Store if you're an iOS user, or go to the Play Store if you're an Android user, and search for TradeStation. You're going to find the TradeStation mobile app in there. You probably have it already. You probably use it on a daily basis. So if that's the case, great. Hopefully you walk away with some tips and tricks on how to do things a little bit more efficiently on the TradeStation mobile apps. But if you haven't used it, this is an opportunity for you to get it on your phone. It works with your regular username and password. So there's no additional account you have to open. There's no additional registration. Once you install the application, this should work with the same username and password that you use to log into the TradeStation desktop. All right. I have populated my quotes list with a lot of symbols that you probably don't have. Nothing to worry about. If you look at the top on both environments, let me separate these a little bit so that it doesn't feel like it's just one application. I'm actually showing two different phones right here on my screen. So I was saying that I have already populated my list with different symbols, but this is something that you can create yourself. In fact, when you log in to the application for the first time, I believe there's only one symbol row at the very top. But if everybody sees at the very top of the applications, you find a little plus. Both platforms have that, and you have a little pencil. The plus, of course, that implies that you can add symbols to the list. And the little pencil, of course, allows you to edit or modify the list. A lot of the menus and a lot of the buttons that you see here in the mobile apps are intuitive because the apps are designed that way so that you don't have to really figure out or struggle to figure out things on the platform. It should pretty much be intuitive, give you an indication where you have to go in order to do certain tasks. So we know that the plus and the pencil allow you to add symbols or remove symbols if you don't need them. Both platforms give you the ability to cycle through different columns. So you can use the finger to go through different columns of information. Towards the very end, well, this is one of the differences between the two environments. On iOS, you have a little gear, gives you access to the different columns that you can turn on or off. So if I tap there, it gives me this list. I can, switch on or switch on different columns. This is in no way similar to radar screen, which you have on the TradeStation desktop. It's designed to be more like a watch list to give you a quick quote on the symbols that you're interested in. So if you're doing some technical scans or some very sophisticated filtering in radar screen, that is something that this does not support. But it's okay because a lot of times when we are checking things on our phone, we want something quick. If you really want to do some really in-depth scanning or in-depth research, then we always recommend you go back to the desktop and do your work over there, okay? But here on Android, you don't have that little gear, but you do have the three dots, the ellipses right there on the top right corner, which gives you the ability to customize the columns. Here it says column settings. I can go there and it gives me a similar menu of columns that I can turn on or off. Okay, let me go ahead and cancel out of this because I just wanted to show you that you have this ability of turning things on or off right here on the application. Another thing that I wanted to point out here in quotes is that you have the ability to create multiple lists. So you don't have to mix all the products in one view, especially if you're trading multiple asset classes. Let's say that you're trading stocks and you're trading futures and you're trading some options. Yeah, of course you can put them all in one view, but if you want to separate them and have your stocks in one place, your options in another, and your futures is another, you can create what's called a quotes list. You create a list that's dedicated to just that asset class, and you can switch back and forth between them. Do you guys see at the very top of my mobile apps where it says my quotes? If I tap there, let me go there. If I tap here on Android, this is iOS, and I tap over here on Android, you can see that I have a few lists. It says my lists. On iOS, I have futures, my quotes, and just plain quotes. Here on Android, on the right-hand side, I have futures and my quotes. If I switch to futures, you're going to see that I have some futures contracts already loaded up. So this allows you to keep your list of symbols somewhat organized, and you don't have a whole mixture of things in one view. Again, to switch back, just tap on the very name at the very top. When you tap on that name, this view also allows you to create new lists. Okay, it's just a matter of clicking on the plus or the minus here on iOS. On Android, we may have to go to the ellipsis menu over here. Yep, that's the place we go to. You see, that's why I always want to show both environments, because on Android, you do have to go back to that ellipsis or the three dots in order to go to the menu, and it gives you the ability to manage the quotes list. So it just gives you that extra layer of organization, which is important if you're following multiple lists of symbols on your mobile app. All right. I'm getting a question here from the chat. This is from Roger. Is it possible to simultaneously connect a trading platform from mobile app and desktop? In order to check my trades on my mobile app, it's now necessary to disconnect the desktop. It's a very good question, Roger, and I appreciate you sending it over here in the chat. Yes, back in the days, if you've been with TradeStation a long time, we did allow you to be connected on multiple platforms simultaneously. Recently, market data exchanges, the exchanges that supply the real-time data to your accounts, drilled down and said, hey, if you're allowing the user to connect on multiple terminals, we're going to want additional data fees, because we consider that as an additional connection to the markets. And that's the reason why we had to restrict your connection to any of the TradeStation platforms to just one platform at a time. That's the reason why when you try to connect to the mobile app, it's going to ask you, well, I see that you're connected already. Do you want to disconnect the other terminal? And you have to choose which one you want to have real-time data on. So is it possible to be connected on multiple devices at the same time? Technically, yes. And this is something you would have to bring up to a client services representative. They can help you figure out how to connect on multiple platforms at the same time. It requires, an additional username and password. It may require you to pay additional data fees. But if this is something that you really need, if this is something that you really want, I mean, being connected on the TradeStation desktop and being connected on the mobile app, then for sure, it's possible for you to do, okay? So hopefully that clarifies this a little bit, but if you want to be connected on multiple devices, please contact our client services department and they'll tell you how much that second terminal would be, all right? Symbols is another pain area of somebody that's using the TradeStation desktop. I totally agree. If you have a list of symbols on the desktop, that doesn't easily transfer over here to the mobile apps. We wish there was a connection, but not at this time. We are working on a cloud solution where you can upload some lists and then have them available on your mobile app. One thing is true though, we have a third TradeStation platform, which is a web-based platform that does allow you to transfer lists from web trading over to the mobile app. Okay, these are our two mobile platforms. They do share symbols amongst each other. Okay, so give that a try. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some other functionality. And Zeke, in regards to your question about being connected to live and simulated at the same time, the same explanation about having multiple logins applies. You need an additional login to TradeStation. Let me go back in here into my quotes, which is the list of symbols that I was looking at. And we are going to take a look at some detailed information on some of these stocks. Everybody sees that I have a list of symbols here. The very top row is Bank of America. I'm going to tap on Bank of America on both environments. What this does, it opens up what's called a detailed view. So whenever you want to see details on any of the symbols that are part of your quotes list, all you need to do is tap on the symbol. It takes you to this view, which is the detailed view. It may not always take you to a chart analysis. That's something that you have to be aware of, because one of the things that the mobile app does is that it remembers what you were looking at before, so that when you go to the detail view, it actually takes you to the same view. So for example, let's say that you were looking at some option chains on Bank of America. I'm looking at some calls and some puts, and then you close the application. When you come back and you go to your quotes list and you tap on something like Twitter, you tap on Twitter, it's going to take you again to that option chain because it thinks that you want to be there again. It won't take you to the chart. So just be aware of that because sometimes you may log into the mobile app and you kind of, oh, what happened here? I got, I got surprised with something I didn't see before. So that's what happens. It just remembers where you were last time you were logged in, and it'll take you there again. But if you want to go to a chart, you just have to tap on the actual button for a chart. If you look at the bottom, this is one of the main differences between iOS and Android. If you look at my iOS, you see the tabs right here at the bottom. 5 tabs: summary, news, chart, matrix, and options. The one that is blue is the one that you're currently on. So I'm on a chart analysis view. If you look at Android, the tabs are going to be at the very top. But we have the exact same tabs: summary, news, chart, matrix, and option. They're just located in a different place inside the mobile app. Something to be aware of: if you're an iOS user or an Android user, just make sure that you locate the tabs in order to see the details of the symbol that you are analyzing. What symbol did we look at? What symbol did we tap on? We tapped on Bank of America. So when we look at the chart, that's what we see: a chart of Bank of America. Okay, let's talk about charting. Here at the top, one nice thing that not a lot of people know, that once you are in a detail view of any symbol that you tap on from your quotes window, you see the symbol at the very top, which gives you the ability to tap on it and have access to the list of symbols that were in your quotes. So if I wanted to see Twitter instead of Bank of America, I don't necessarily have to go back to my quotes to tap on it. I just tap on where it says Bank of America right there at the top. iOS gives me a list of symbols, and Android also gives me the list of symbols that I have in my quotes. So I can tap on Twitter from here if I wanted to switch the symbol without having to go back to quotes. So very nice, quick access to your list of symbols. When we talk about indicators, let's say that we want to add Bollinger Bands, volume, or any of those indicators, we can do it right here directly on the chart. That's a small difference too. On iOS, I have to go to the gear at the very top of the chart to access my indicators. See where it says Add Studies at the very top? I click on Add Studies. Let's suppose that I tap on Bollinger Bands, which is right there at the top of the list, and it adds the Bollinger Bands here to my screen. If I want to do the same thing here on Android, I have a dedicated kind of a science beaker button on the top of my chart. Gives me quick access to indicators. So I like the science beaker that shows up right here on Android, because as soon as I tap on it, it gives me the list of studies. And it also allows me to do a multiple selection without having to come back here. So I can select Bollinger Bands, and maybe I want to do, at the bottom of my chart, I want to do a MACD. So I select both of them and I tap on OK. Now I see my 2 studies right here. On iOS, I have to go back to the menu, Add Studies, look for MACD, select it, and now I have it right there at the bottom. Okay, the spacing is going to be a little bit different also. Notice that iOS gives me a little bit more historical data, but that's okay because you can use the pinch and zoom gesture that you do when you want to, like for example, when you want to blow up a picture on your phone to see the detail, you do the same thing here in charting. I find that very useful. So in Android, if I want to squeeze the chart a little bit, I just pinch and zoom. Yeah, there we go. Now the charts look a little bit more similar. The time frame is also something that you want to adjust on a chart. If you look at the bottom of my chart analysis, you can see that both my environments are set to weekly. So every candle is a weekly chart. But I have a whole bunch of different time frames that I can tap on. The M that you see next to the number is the minute interval. So you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and so forth. The D is daily, W is weekly. So let's suppose that we want to see a 5-minute chart on Bank of America. I just type on 5M on both environments, and now I have a 5-minute chart of Bank of America. But looking at the bottom of the chart, you can see the one that is highlighted in blue, and that's the one that is currently applied to the chart. If you want to change the ones that show up at the bottom, that's something also you can do. Everybody sees the little clock here on the far right. If I tap there, this is the order in which the time frames are going to show up there at the bottom. And remember, this is all about space and being able to utilize the space on your phone screen to the maximum benefit. So if you have some time frames down there that you don't use ever, why have them down there? So you can reorganize your list of time frames and make them work for the type of analysis that you do. On both places, you have, well, on iOS, you have the plus and the pencil. We know the plus is to add and the pencil is to edit. Here on Android, you have the little handles that allow you to move those time frames up and down. So feel free to edit that just to make it work for you. Okay, let me see. Let's go ahead and remove a study. How do I remove the MACD that I have there at the bottom? This is to answer a question here from the chat. All you need to do is tap on the name of the study that's right there on the chart. So if I want to remove the MACD, I just tap on MACD. It takes me to the settings of the MACD, and I see a big delete button right here. I just press delete, and the MACD is gone. On Android, I do the same. Tap on the name. I have a delete gray button. I click on it or tap on it, and the MACD is gone. All right? All right. So can you enlarge the font on the price scale? You know, the app itself is controlled by the fonts that you select on your phone. One thing that I've done on my iOS, and I don't know exactly where it is on Android, is using bigger fonts, because I think that helps the way that the numbers and the letters show up on the application. By moving down my menu here, I have access to my text size. You can see that right now on my iOS, I have my text size to maximum, which helps me read not only the quotes, but a lot of the numbering and the font on the application. Anytime that you find something on the mobile app that you want maybe enhanced, that you find that it's not working properly, you have a direct connection from the mobile device to the developers or the product owners. So go to the main menu of the application, main menu meaning the hamburger menu right here on the top left. On my Android, I don't have a hamburger menu, but I can tap on back and go to the hamburger menu. And you can see that in the main menu, you have a feedback option. When you tap on feedback on both environments, it gives you the ability to suggest a feature, to report a problem, to write a review, or to call support. Okay, so all those options are right here within the palms of your hand. Okay, all right. For any additional follow-up, please join me in the Getting Started channel or the Masterclass channel. Those are channels that are dedicated to dive deeper into TradeStation's technology. So I do have to cover some other topics here in my presentation, and I apologize beforehand if I don't get to your question, okay? Let's go ahead and trade some shares of Bank of America. Maybe we think that it is timely to trade Bank of America for whatever reason. Let me open up my chart. I know that Bank of America is trading at $41.62. Maybe we're waiting for a pullback at $41.50. Let's do that. Let's wait for a pullback at $41.50 and set a buy at $41.50. But we're also going to set a target at $41.75, meaning that we want a profit target of 25 cents per share. And we want to also set a stop at 21 or at 41.40. Does that make sense? So this is an all-inclusive trade that we're going to set right here from the mobile device. A lot of people say, I don't like trading from my phone. It's too small. I can't see the screen. But I want to show you how easy it is to put in a trade as complex or as inclusive as putting in an entry with a bracket to keep track of a profit target and a stop loss all at the same time. How do we do it? Let's go ahead and tap on trade right there on the top right corner. It's a very visible button, green, that says trade. I'm going to do that on iOS, and I'm going to do that right here on Android. So on both screens, you see an order ticket getting ready for you to supply the details on what is it that you want to trade. Right here on iOS, you can see at the very top that you already have a button here that is dedicated to buy or sell. So you have to choose the action of what is it that you want the order to do. I want to buy 1,000 shares of Bank of America. On Android, you don't have that separation, but the buttons provide you the separation. See the buttons below is a buy or sell short. So you have to tap on the button that represents the action that you want to take. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do the order on iOS, and then I'm going to come over here on Android and show you how to do it. So this is a buy order. This is my simulated account. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase the quantity to 1,000. My order type is a limit order because I did say that I want to buy the shares at 41.50. So let me go ahead and put in the price here, 41.50. All right. All right, that's my price. The duration, I want the duration to be a GTC. GTC because I want the order to remain active more than just today. So it's not a day order. I want it to be there. If it doesn't get filled today before the market closes, then I'll have an opportunity to get filled tomorrow. Route intelligent, but notice how easy it is here to set a profit target and a stop loss on iOS. You have two buttons, says take profit order, stop loss order. Very simple, which are not available here in Android, but I'll show you in Android how you can go around this. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the take profit. We did say that we wanted a profit of 25 cents. I'm going to set my target at 41.75. That's 25 cents. If I multiply that by 1,000, that gives me a profit of $250. Okay, maybe it's a quick trade. It's also a GTC. And a stop loss, I'm going to turn that on too. And I'm going to say if it drops to 41.40, then I also want to get out. I review my order. In fact, I have that blue big button right there at the bottom. This is review my buy order. And this gives me the confirmation. It's also very informative, the way that iOS puts your order in place. From the very top, it says you're buying 1,000 shares of Bank of America at a price of 41.50 or lower with a take profit at 41.75 and stop loss at 41.40. There's no questions asked. I mean, that's very clear, very informative. And then it gives you a breakdown of what your order looks like. Buy 1,000 at 41.50, then sell 1,000 at 41 stop with all the different trade costs. I think this is good. Once you're ready, I tap on send orders at the bottom. I get my result. I'm going to dismiss it and tap OK. This is going to go back to the chart, and it's going to show me exactly where my orders are. I got filled, you know. It wasn't really trading at 41.50 when I was looking at this, but in the process of setting up the order, it actually filled me. It says 1,000 limit at 41.50. I have a position. How do I know that I also have a position? Well, look over here at the top. Above the chart, it says long 1,000. So it automatically tells you that you are in a long position. But these two red flags are telling you what your exits are. You have an exit at 41.75 and you have an exit at 41.40, which are connected in an OCO. Makes it very simple for you to submit and monitor your trades. Exactly, Chris. Chris is asking, were those stop orders an OCO? They were exactly an OCO, even though when you went to the order ticket, they didn't appear or they weren't labeled as OCO. They are exactly an OCO. When one gets filled, the other side gets canceled. Let's go ahead and do this on Android. On Android, what I'm going to do is, instead of using a standard trade, everybody sees the word standard trade right there at the top. I'm going to tap up there because what I want is not something standard. I want an OSO with a bracket. OSO, if you're not familiar, is order sends order. And that's what I want. I want an order to buy 1,000 shares of Bank of America to send my exits with a profit target and a stop loss. So I'm going to choose OSO with bracket. Take a look at the order. I think it's very clear what we need to do here. We just need to edit each one of these boxes to match the plan that we have. Starting from the very top, I'm going to tap on that little pencil that gives me edit mode. So let me tap there. I said that I wanted to buy this at 41.50 with a duration of GTC. Once I put in my price, the type of order, and I check everything, then I just have to tap on done at the very top. Takes me back to the previous screen. Now I go on with my profit target. I tap on the second pencil, which is the first blue. Okay, my target is going to be at 41.75. Okay, this is going to be it's going to be a limit order if it's a selling transaction. Yes, I forgot to change the quantity, I think, for the order. So let's go ahead and check that also. So this is a GTC. I'm going to tap on done. So if I look here at the very top, you can see how the quantity still says 100. So thank you for those that pointed that out. Let's go ahead and add a 0. And all I need to do then is set my stop, which is the third box here, or the second blue one. So let's go ahead and set that up. It's already set to 1,000. We said that we wanted our stop to be 41.40. And this will be a GTC order with the stop market. And I just tap on done. So before I even submit the order, I can always look at the prices here. So let's say buy 41.55, sell 41.65. This is not correct. So let me go ahead and tap here again. I said that I wanted 75, right? GTC, done. Okay, so a target and the limit, the buy price, I guess every time you go in there, it's adjusted, but I want a limit price of 41.50. Okay, let's try this. Entry at 41.50, target at 41.75, stop loss at 41.40. Once I'm done, I tap on send orders. This is a long confirmation, but it's telling me the details of what is it that I'm about to place. And I just tap on send. I get the result, tap on OK, and I can see the orders right here on my screen. On iOS, I got filled. On Android, the buy order is sitting right here. The blue flag that you see there, that's my buy order at 41.50. The current price of Bank of America at 41.52. So it just has to drop a couple pennies for me to get in on that trade on the Android platform. Okay. To make sure that you are on simulated, that's a good question. If you go over here to the main menu and you said Android, well, right here at the very top, it tells you connected to sim. On Android, you have to go back and then go to the main menu. It tells you right there, connected to simulated. So always go to the main menu of the application. It tells you where you're connected to, and then you can log out and log back in if you want to make a different choice, okay? All right, so let's go back here to my trade. Let's suppose that we want to keep an eye on our position. Where do we see it? In order for you to keep track of your positions, you have to go to the main menu of the application, and you find that on the hamburger menu. That's the main app right there. Reading from the very top, you have quotes. Quotes is the view that we started off with. That's the one that has the list of symbols. That's the one you can modify. Hot lists, something great for you to get ideas on what to trade or be pointed to certain symbols that are experiencing certain behavior. Let's go in there for a moment. I know that I wanted to show you how to monitor your positions, but since we are already here in the main menu, let's go through all the different options here one by one so you know exactly what to expect and what to find in your application. This is the same hot list information that you find in the desktop. Very powerful because all the scanning and all the calculations run on the TradeStation server, and all we're doing is we're serving a list of symbols to you. Let me find out which symbols have changed the most from the close of yesterday. So what I do is right there at the top, you see percent losers right here in iOS, and you see percent gainers right here on Android. If I want to see the percent gainers on iOS, I just have to tap on where it says the filter, and I can just choose the filter that I want. So I want the percent gainers for 1 day. And now you can see how the two lists are matching. Now, this symbol that's at the very top has a 49% increase in price. I'm not sure what the symbol is. Well, it tells you there's Austerlitz something. The symbol is AUS.W. I'm not really sure what the company does or what's behind it, but the fact that you're able to come here to an application and find something that is happening to a particular stock that you have no idea existed, I think it's very valuable. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade it, but this allows me to go in there and say, what's wrong with it? Why is it increasing in price about 49%? And you have all different behaviors here. If we want to look at the opposite side, we just click back on the filter and say, let me look at the percent losers. So this is percent losers 1 day. And I'll do the same thing here on Android, percent losers 1 day. So we can see the symbol at the top, ctest.a. Again, no idea what it does, but it's down 48% from the close of yesterday. So take a look at the hot list once in a while when you're out of trades, and then you can make a decision as to whether you want to trade that symbol or not. One of the things that I do also is, if I'm interested in knowing what the company does, is tapping on the symbol and then maybe going to the news to find out what's going on with them. Let me show you. Let's take a look at the third symbol, all LRMR. If I tap on LRMR, we can see the chart in there. This is a 5-minute chart. We can see that it's lightly traded. Let me go to a daily chart instead and see what happens. Let me tap on D on both environments. Okay, we can see how, this is a stock that was trading, up in the 20s at the beginning of the year. And today it's down to $9.23. So something must be happening to it. From here, I can tap on news and see what's going on. Okay. Now, these are the news based on this symbol or that mention this symbol. So I'm interested in knowing what it does. Let's see. I don't see any headlines that mention the company. Let's see. Larimar Therapeutics shares slides. I do see it right there in the third one. So in the news tab of the mobile app, it does tell you a little bit about what's happening to the company. Let's do some research. Let's find out what's happening to them. Is it something that we would want to trade? And having access to hot lists from within the mobile app, I think it's very valuable. Let's go back to the main menu here because I'm running out of time and I want to show you a couple more things that are part of the application. So we have the hot lists, we have the orders, which is very self-explanatory. It just tells you what orders have you placed, which ones were active, which ones were canceled. Positions where you find the positions that you have open in your account. Let me tap on positions here and positions here. Okay, my two phones have different positions because they're logged into different simulators. So on iOS, I have Apple, Bank of America, and Microsoft. On Android, I have Bank of America, Facebook, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, AT&T, Twitter, Visa, and Walmart. I have many more on my Android, which is okay. Let's suppose that we want to get rid of our Bank of America position, the one we just traded right now. From here, from the positions view, I just have to tap on Bank of America, and you get a great menu to close the position. Close the position would close it at market. Reverse the position, meaning that if you're long 1,000, it'll take you short 1,000. Or go to the trade bar. If you tap on trade from here, it'll just take you to the order ticket, but it'll pre-populate with the information of your position, okay? Let's go back here to the mobile app and take a look at the main menu because I want to show you something that is very unique to the mobile apps, which is alerting. Somebody pointed out earlier in the chat that when you go to the desktop, it actually the alerts that are there cannot be transferred over to the mobile app. But the mobile alerts are actually much better than the ones that you find on the alert in the sense that they are server-based. Server-based, meaning that you can close the application and still be alerted on the criteria that you select. This is something that the desktop doesn't have. The desktop, you know that you have to keep it connected. It has to be, running with real-time data. So when you don't have all those things, then you don't have alerts. When it comes to the mobile app, any alert you set up here is going to send push notifications to your phone, very similar to the ones when you get a text alert or an email alert. Those are sent to the push notification. That's exactly how you get alerted. So let's go ahead and set up an alert. I'm just going to tap on alert. Let me go ahead and add. I'm going to do it on Bank of America. So Bank of America trades less than $41. Then I create that. I can do that on Android as well. Tap on the plus, Bank of America, less than $41. So now, by creating that, I can be walking down the street, and as soon as Bank of America trades below 40, then we would get that alert. So let's go ahead. So alerts on the mobile device are great because of that reason, because they're server-based and you don't need to keep the application open. They just happen and push notifications to your phone. And this is also true, and this is also an advantage of having the application open, is that you get notifications when something gets filled. You know, you could be setting up an order with your profit target and your stop loss, and then all you need to do is carry your phone, log in. You don't even have to log in. Carry your phone, because every time an order gets filled, then you get a push notification sent to your phone letting you know what is the result of your order. So that's very, very convenient to have right here on the mobile device. All right. And last thing that I wanted to show you, I know that I'm running a little bit over time, but for those of you that are options traders, and you can raise your hand if you want, it's great that you can trade options on the mobile app. You have access to options, and you can trade not only single options, you can also trade spreads. So let's go and take a look at another symbol here. Let me go back to the main quotes. All right, and let's use Apple. Apple is right there in the middle on iOS, and I'll tap on Apple right here on Android. Notice what happened just now, because this is something that I pointed out at the very beginning, is that when you use the detail view, the application remembers where you were. If you remember, when we were doing the hot list, we were looking at news. So when we went over to the detail view of Apple, it just takes us back to news, because it seems, or it figures out that you want to continue watching news, but on a different symbol. Not exactly what I wanted, but I just have to go and find the options tab. I find it right here at the bottom on iOS, and then I find it at the top for Android. So these are my options for Apple. I have expirations right here at the top. So if I'm looking to hold this until the 3rd week of June, I'm going to select June 18th on both. So it loads that expiration for you. If you wanted to trade any of the puts or calls that are here, all you need to do is tap on the asking price or the bid price. Let's suppose that I wanted to buy the strike of 125 being quoted right here on iOS, being sold for $4.85. If I tap there, it sends, not only it highlights the box, but it sends that information to the bottom for me to trade it. Again, on my Android, I just tap on that asking price and it does the same thing. And if you tap on a different one, it'll replace what's there. So if what you wanted to do is buy the put, when you tap on the put price, it replaces that information at the bottom. So tapping on any call or any put replaces the information before it goes on to the trade. But if you wanted to trade spreads, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can let TradeStation build the spreads for you by using the spread selector. That's the drop down that's here at the top. Let me tap it on right here on Android. It has a similar drop down. Or you can just choose custom. You see custom, the second option from the top. If you tap on custom, Then you can do a multiple selection by just tapping on the different legs you want to trade. So if I wanted to trade, let's say, the 122, cancel out of this. To get rid of a highlight, you just have to tap on it, okay? So let's say, for example, we want to trade the 125 against the 130. See how it highlights them? And then you want to trade this one with this one. So you can do up to 4 legs on an options order. And when you tap on trade, it'll trade those 4 legs all together. That's if you choose custom. And you can see right here, it recognizes that as an iron condor. If I want to do that here on Android, let me do that here quickly. I'm going to tap on the 125 to buy the 125. I'm going to sell the 130. And then I'm going to sell the 135. And I'm going to buy the 140. Uh-oh. That's because I didn't tap on this one. So, all right. So when I traded, then again, doesn't tell me what spread this is, but this is the same spread that's over here. I do get a label here for iron condor. So it has a lot of functionality for you to trade options as well. You don't have, of course, all the graphing and all the P&L profiles that you find on the TradeStation desktop when you pull up OptionStation Pro. But for those that are options traders, and for those of you that have, that have to be on the road for any reason, you have your phones with you at all times. You can pull it up and trade anything you want from the palms of your hand. I think that's very convenient. And everyone here should take an opportunity to download the application if you haven't done so already, log in with your TradeStation username and password, and see the benefits that you can gather by just using the app. All right, well, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate, you staying with me despite, all the different things that were going on here in the chat. Hopefully the recording will be cleaner out of all this nonsense, but I do want to encourage everyone to continue joining us inside of the TradeStation Getting Started channel and the TradeStation Masterclass, which are 2 channels available on youcantrade.com. All right, thank you for your participation, and I want to wish you a great afternoon. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.